Hey there, Titans. In this video, I'll show you how to use Form Titan as a call center. So let me show you how this works and then we'll dive into the details. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to click a quick action button. And what it will do, it will call the contact. So right now I'm calling myself. And here the phone call came through. I'm just going to pick up the phone so we have some details. And I will hang this up. And what Titan will do now is take the details of the call and we'll push it into Salesforce. So if I'll scroll down here, I see that I have a bunch of call logs. Every call I will get a log. So if I'll go into this one, for instance, I will see how long it went and the call duration, etc. Let's view all and we'll view the last one. So we see it was 7 seconds and I get SID, and from here I can do whatever I want with it. Can generate reports, etc, etc. Alright, so let me show you how this works. So what we have here is a few hiddens. First one is the record ID. This is what we're passing onto the form, the record ID of the contact. We have a contact name and we have a res. The res is a hidden, basically getting the result from the form, from Twilio. And we have a bunch of other variables here, basically to map it back to Salesforce. So let me show you how you get started, and we'll try and make it as clear as possible. So I'll head over to my account. First thing I have to do is head over to my push settings logs, and I'll revoke access to Twilio and I'll grant access again. So the first thing you got to do is account SID, token from console, and allow call, and then you will have a few more variables to put. Alright, so let's head over to our Twilio account. I'm just going to duplicate this and I'll go to my console. And here I have the account SID and I have the token as well. I'm just going to paste that real quick. Alright, and now we need the API key, API secret, and application ID. Alright, so these you can find in the settings, and you have the tokens here. I can't preview it since it just shows it to you once, so you create a token and you'll get it, the API credentials. So I have it saved, so I'm just going to grab it. And the last thing I have to do is the application, and this is what the request URL is for. So if I'll head back to Twilio and I go to programmable voice and TweML and TweML apps, and then you can create your app over here. I'm just going to go into Donkey Docs and I put my request URL over here. So you create a new one, you give it a name, and then you get an SID, and this is what we need. I'll head back and put the application ID over here, hit apply, and I'm authenticated. Right now I can make calls to Twilio, which is great. And now let me show you the settings on the form side. So what we do over here is we head over to view more, form settings, view more. We head over to integration, push notification. We go to Twilio and we tell Twilio we want to make a phone call. Alright, then basically Form Titan will ask you which object do you want to call to. So you say, I want to call the contact in my instance, and where do I map the record ID from? So in my instance, it's the hidden record ID. Again, you can put in whatever it is you're doing. And then I'm putting the callback result to res, and the callback status to status callback. Basically, this is the status of the call, so you can map it to a different hidden, which will give you just the status. The res will return whatever JSON Twilio is returning. Next thing is, what is your person name? You can map it dynamically to any hidden from your get. And then the caller ID is the number that you have set up with Twilio. has to be the same number, otherwise it will not work. You can choose auto close on complete. In my instance, it's fine like that. And here you can map up to 3 phone numbers. So let's say if I'll map in another phone number, and I'll say, let's say I'll do the same name, and I'll say number 2 will be the mobile phone on the contact, and you can map 3. 2 is fine in my instance. And we'll hit finish. Let me just show you the hidden so we can see how this works. Show hidden fields. I'll hit save, and I'll publish this directly from here and not through Salesforce, so we can see how this works. I'll just pass in a contact ID. So I'll go back to my contact, and I'll pass this contact ID in. All right, now Titan recognizes automatically that I have 2 phone numbers. Which one do we want to call? We want to call phone number 1, phone number 2, and again, these are completely customizable. You can say this is mobile, this is phone, whatever it is you want. Then basically, once you click this, it will call phone number 1 or phone number 2, etc. And now let's just see how this works. So if I'll hang up now, and I'll hit close, save is running, and I'll show you what happened with the Eden. All right, so first thing, we got res from the JSON from Twilio. So if I'll just try and preview this JSON, and I'll show you what this looks like. So we got a very simple JSON with a bunch of details that we're using to create our object in Salesforce, the call log in Salesforce, so we know what happened. And the way for us to break this down is using a little JavaScript. So if I'll head over to the res, and I'll look at the condition, so I'm saying if the res is not empty, then what I want to do is click the configure result and execute JS. And what I'm doing here is very simple. I'm just converting since it's a JSON, then I'm just converting the variable into a JSON. So I'm getting FLD4, which is our res hidden, and then I'm pushing it onto the other fields I want them. So direction FLD10, I'm getting it from the TRES JSON object, and pushing the direction from the Twilio. Then the last thing I need to do is basically run the push. So I have a push that runs on a custom action. So I have a push call log, and the mappings are very simple. So the action is create. My mapping is call duration, from, call SID, etc., etc. And once the call SID is not empty, then I'm running my push. And again, you can play with it however you like. This is just one example. The only thing I didn't show you is how do we get the Twilio to come up. So in my instance, I've run it through a condition. So I've configured a condition saying, if the record ID is not empty, I want you to execute the Twilio button. Same way, I can cancel this and throw in a button, and in the button type, I'll change it to Twilio, and I'll call the button call contact. And now, once I click the button, then my Twilio will come up. And this is how it's done.